Hey, we're Saints. Father Chris here. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Glad to have you beautiful people with us as we begin the first day of 2023. Happy January 2nd.
Happy New Year!
Yesterday was the first. Today's the second. But it's a first for us. Greg also wishes Happy New Year.
Merry New Year!
Merry New Year. We're excited. And here's why. Because we are going to make some drastic but beautiful changes in the imminent future regarding Warrior Saints. For those who are in, you're going to see an amazing improvement. For the rest of you, it's going to be repeatedly encouraged that you join us. And here's why. As we begin this new year, we often use the January 1st day as a target or a marker for change in our lives. You know, we all make those resolutions and we all promise that we're going to be better this year than we were last, and we're going to finally lose those pounds or make that money or heal the relationships or be successful in all the things. And what we're ultimately all striving for is to become exceptional people, right? Like we're kind of like lost in the mediocrity of the world, and we get tired of it because we're driven from inside to become exceptional. Here's the problem with all of that is that, as you well know, the data shows us that most New Year's resolutions don't make it past 12 days. Yep, said it. 12 days. Not 12 weeks. 12 days, bro. By the second week, we're done, right? I mean, you've probably experienced that yourself. And so then you just shoot the target for 2024. Well, that's a long time away. What if we made this year the very best of our lives? I'm going to push you to do that. I'm going to be rotten and awful and mean and nasty and loving to push you to become an exceptional human being. And here's the point that makes Warrior Saints completely different than anything else. This is why we push it so hard. We have really, in our own lives, Greg and I and the rest of our team, we've really not even found out, we have become so utterly convinced that if people will follow the commandments of God and live a Christ-like life, that they stand a much better chance, they have much higher odds of becoming exceptional people. And when people don't follow the Christ-like life, when people are not crucifixional, really the default is into this mediocrity that we're all just so desiring to get out of. So you may be saying to yourself, all right, I hear you, Father Chris. I get it. I know you're right, because I feel like I could be so much more. I feel like I'm just like normal, like everybody else, and I don't really want to be like everyone else. But how do I do it? What do I do? Where do I go? Well, interestingly enough, I mean, obviously, as we always push, go to warriorsaints.org. But when you get there, you're going to find a couple of things that are hopefully, if you take advantage of the opportunity, will help you as you strive to live Christ-like lives, to become exceptional people. And the root, the foundation upon which all of that is built, all of our teaching, all of our instructing, everything that we have to give you is based on one principle, and that is something we call being crucifixional. What that means is that we imitate Christ on the cross, right? So remember, in Scripture, the bad guy is sin and death. And Christ is the only one who can conquer that. You couldn't, I couldn't, no saints, no prophets. Adam made the mess. None of them could conquer death as hard as they tried. Only Christ conquered the greatest of all the monsters. And he did so in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he sacrificed his will to do God's will. And so by going to the cross, being crucified, he doesn't die and go into death. He dies and goes through death into new life. You see the difference? Adam did his own business, and he died and went to death. Jesus Christ, by doing God's business, dies and goes through death. That's a very stark difference between Adam, which is the world's way, which is ultimately that mediocre path we're talking about. Christ was clearly exceptional, the unique one who conquered the monster. Now, the message is, as the Lord tells us, if only you would deny yourself, take up your own cross and follow me. This is his call to all of us to be crucifixional, to set our own will aside to make room for God's will. And by doing so, not only do we have a greater opportunity of becoming exceptional, a greater opportunity of conquering whatever monsters we may find in our lives, that ultimately at the end of our lives, we may also be offered the possibility through God's grace to go to death through it and not end up there. Does that make sense? This is what every Christian is called to, is to be crucifixional in our lives. How we do that, what tools we implement to make that happen, the way we live our lives is, again, always at odds with the world and the mediocrity that it leads to. WarriorSaints.org is going to show you a different way, a better way, a crucifixional way, indeed, the way of the warrior saint. So for the rest of this week, the rest of this year, and perhaps all of our lives, we are going to continually implore you to join us on the way of the warrior saint. We're battling every single day. We want you to join us. Let's become exceptional human beings. Love ya. Going to be back tomorrow, as always. Keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.